Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the NFL Divisional playoff matchups for this weekend. And there was a lot of surprising outcomes of the wild card. I was not good at predicting the wild card at all, so hopefully this week is better than last week when it comes to the predictions that I have. But to give you a recap of last week, the Texans blew out the Browns. They had a phenomenal second half. Back-to-back interceptions was a big help. A part of that. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins. That was not a surprise, but we got to see how bad Tua Tagovailoa is in the cold, which leads a lot of people thinking that he shouldn't be the quarterback coming back next year, which will be interesting to see how that plays out. You have Dallas getting blown out by the Packers. That was surprising. I did not expect that to happen, especially to that level of a blowout. What was this, like 48-32, and even that was generous. So, yeah, a lot of bad there. You had the Lions finally winning a playoff game for the first time in 30 years. Phenomenal stuff there. You had the Bills beating the Steelers. Closer game than a lot of people thought, including me, was going to be, but they took care of business, and the Bucs surprising the Eagles and destroying them, showing how bad tackling the Eagles are, and making Ray Lewis really mad, and Jason Kelce retiring because of their loss. So, yeah. But this week's matchups are very interesting. We have two new teams. The two 1 seeds are not playing this week, and they both have home games, of course, except for the 1 seeds. Start off with the 3:30 matchup for tomorrow. It's going to be the Ravens at home versus the Texans. You can look at this in two different ways. One, you can look at the defenses and be like, wow, these defenses are actually really good. I mean, they held the Browns to 14 points last week. The Texans did. The Ravens were one of the best defenses in the NFL. They held one of the best offenses, the 49ers, the other 1 seed on the NFC side. They held them to like 12 points, got 4 interceptions on them. Maybe 19, but overall played a phenomenal game against them defensively. Or you can look on the offensive side and be like, okay, we have Lamar Jackson, who's an MVP level quarterback, and CJ Stroud, who's also an MVP level quarterback, even though he is only a rookie. Unbelievable stuff that he is able to do at his age. You have Dalvin Cook, which is added to the Ravens, which might make some of a difference. We'll see what happens there. But this game, in my opinion, will be decided on how good the defenses play. Lamar Jackson, he sucks in the playoffs. He's 1-3. He's not good. And I checked the stats. He has a lot of great running stats. If you can stop him running, you will win. He has 2 games in his playoff career, both over 100 yards rushing. Both of them came against the Titans. Both of them did. But you had some moments that Lamar Jackson played very bad in the playoffs. Specifically passing. Pretty much every game he's had in the playoffs, he was pretty poor passing. He had a game against the Titans. He was 31 for 59, that with like 300 yards, one touchdown, 2 interceptions. Only scored 12 points. They scored 20 points on Titans again, but he had under 200 yards and an interception, no passing touchdowns. And then against the Bills, they only scored 3 points, and he threw a 102-yard interception for a touchdown on the Bills. I'm pretty sure late in the first half or early in the second half. And they lost because of that stuff. I'm not really going to count this first game ever against the Chargers in the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm not really going to count that. But if you look at that, I'm like, wow, that's not that great. You look at CJ Stroud, and like, wow, he went like 274 yards, very good efficiency, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, what else could you ask for? He hit every deep ball he had to. Like, a lot of very good stuff against a very good defense that he performed to. So this game, in my opinion, will be close. But one thing that's worse than Lamar Jackson's playoff performances is the overall record of divisional round playoff games for the Houston Texans in their franchise's history. They're 0-4. They blew a 24-point lead to the Chiefs one year at Arrowhead, and they lost by 20 that same game. So they're not great in divisional round at all, and Lamar's not great in the playoffs at all. So it's going to rely heavily on the defenses to see how this is going to play out, in my opinion. Who's going to be able to make the big plays when they have to. I think a lot of big plays will come from the defensive side of the ball. they played early in this year, the first game CJ Stroud ever played, and he didn't do that well. It's probably very different. It's probably going different than that game, but I got the score. I got the score being let's go 21-17. I think it's gonna be close, but let me get the Ravens. Let me get the Ravens in this one. I think Lamar Jackson will be able to run. I think he'll be able to run. I know they got fast edge players, but it's very tough to play Lamar Jackson. Very, very tough too. Then you have the night matchup for Sunday. I mean for Saturday. The Packers go to San Fran to play the 49ers. 49ers are healthy right now, and they look very, very good. Ever since they got Chase Young, they've had no real issues. I mean, they struggled against the Ravens, but every NFC team struggles against the Baltimore Ravens, unless if you're the Giants, who's the only team to beat Lamar Jackson, who's in the NFC. So you have that, but the Packers scored 48 points on the Cowboys. It's a pretty good defense. Jordan Love made them look trash. Their offense made them look trash. Their defense made the offense look trash of the Cowboys. And it was a very fun game to watch because of that. So, will the Packers be able to do that same stuff? I doubt that. Because the pass rush with Chase Young, and you have Nick Bosa, you have like Fred Warner level players, you have very good corners. All that will go make a difference. I think the edge guys will be a huge difference. The middle will be clogged up. And they already were preparing for the Packers like midway in the second quarter. It was crazy. I seen Kyle Shanahan talk about it. It's like, yeah, we were preparing for the Packers like right after that interception that Dak threw to make it the pick six he threw. We started preparing right after that. That's funny. That's just really funny that everyone knew the Cowboys were going to lose right after that, even the coaches. So yeah. But this game though, Brock Purdy, it's interesting how he plays. They probably would have made a Super Bowl last year if he didn't get hurt. Let's be honest. They probably would have beat that Eagles team. But I'm interested to see what happens here. I think Christian McCaffrey would be a little bit too much for them. This is such a tough team to stop. I got the 49ers in this one probably 34-21. Let me get the 49ers in this one. I think the Packers find some offense, probably keep it close for a bit, but then the 49ers will just take over completely. And yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers put up a better fight than that. So yeah. But then we have the Sunday matchups, 3:30. Lions at home versus the Buccaneers. That will be fun. We're going to either have Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield in an NFC title game. Possibly a home game for them, depending on the Packers and 49ers result. Lions looked very good against the Rams in the first half. Offensively, they looked very good. Defensively, they struggled. But in the second half, offensively, they struggled. But defensively, they held on very well. You got to play both sides consistently because the Bucs did that. The Bucs did that throughout the game against the Eagles. They had a pretty good first half, solid first half offensively, very good first half defensively, very good second half defensively, very good first half, very good second half offensively too. And then they blew them, and that's how they blew them out. If they can do that same thing what they did against the Eagles, against the Lions, they will win. Of course, that's logic. But if the Lions can perform defensively how they did in the second, and offensively how they did in the first half, and defensively how they did in the second half, and do that throughout the entire game, that will be a very big battle right there. It's in Detroit. It's one of the loudest places to play at. We have to look at who's going to fold more. Who will fold more? Who will not make the big plays? I think a lot of the Bucs' big plays came off of bad tackling from the Eagles. A lot of them came off of very bad, poor tackling, which the Lions don't make those same mistakes. Mike Evans will be a big part of today, but I'm not sure how that will match up. Early on in the year, these two played, and the Bucs only scored, I think, only 6 points. The Lions got 20, and they won. The Lions won. David Montgomery got hurt in that game. That kind of showed how good Jahmyr Gibbs was. So from now on, we got to show how good Jahmyr Gibbs was. So, yeah, it's going to be, I could definitely see it being a closer game than overall because I bet that these defenses will hold up very well. It's a matter of what they can do offensively. I've seen Baker Mayfield make some amazing throws. I've also seen Jared Goff make some amazing throws, but I've seen Baker Mayfield make a lot of bad plays, and I've seen Jared Goff make a lot of bad plays. Who's going to make more poor decisions? It's gonna be close. It's gonna be tough to see how that's gonna play. This game's gonna be close. I think run game will be a big difference. These teams are, in my opinion, are evenly matched. More evenly matched you might expect. I've seen Goff make some horrible decisions. Baker might too. But I think Goff might make a little bit more. I think Goff might make a little bit more of a mistake than Baker does. So this is close. This is really close. You know what? Let's go with it. I'm gonna call for an upset. I'm going to go 27-24. Give me the Bucks in this one. I'm going for an upset. I think Baker will make the right plays. I think Baker's on a roll right now. I think Jared Goff is too. I think Jared Goff is doing really good, but Jared Goff has a bad game here and there. He has some pretty bad games here and there, and I think he'll make some of those throws. I mean, they get pressure. The Bucks tackle very well, and I don't think that they'll be able to run the ball very effectively the same way they did in previous games. I just don't think so to that same level. And if Jared Goff tries to force a ball like he sometimes did against the Bears and that stuff, and he gets to that situation and you have to rely on the run and you can stack up with Vita Vea and those guys up front, that'll be very tough to stop. And I like the Bucks in this one. I could definitely see the Lions win this one, but I'm going with the Bucks. And then we have the AFC Divisional Final. 6:30. Big game. Biggest game of them all, in my opinion. Chiefs finally on the road for the first time in 6 years to play at Buffalo. This game will be one for the record books. These two have been rivals the past couple of years. These two have had a big rivalry. The Bills have dominated the regular season. The Chiefs have dominated the postseason against them. It's going to be interesting how these two play against each other. Chiefs, very good defense. Spectacular defense, actually. One of the best in the NFL. Bills are very good defensively, too. But sometimes lack in clutch situations. Sometimes lack holding on to leads that the Chiefs tend to be able to put away their opponents when they can. But the Bills have way more playmakers than the Chiefs do right now. The Bills they have Stephon Diggs, who's not done crazy amounts, but a lot of other guys. You had Shakir make a huge play. Josh Allen single-handedly just ran through half the Steelers team. Like, you have a lot of playmakers, and you have, like, Gabe Davis, you have Kincaid, whatever say his name. You have Dawson Knox. You have a lot of playmakers on that side. And then James Cook is turned on to be very, very good at running back since they finally started to use him. Also, this team's like, I think they're on a 6-game winning streak or something like that. That's all since they fired Ken Dorsey of being the offensive coordinator. So, yeah. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. The Chiefs, they struggle offensively a lot, but they found a little bit of a rhythm against the Dolphins here and there. And it's tough to bet against Mahomes in big moments, in big games. But this game's at Buffalo. If they don't win it this year, you're not going to get another shot. Josh Allen will make some boneheaded decisions. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But the Chiefs have beat the Bills most years because of their offense, because of the Tyreek Hills, because of the players like that. And they're just not like that this year. They're not like that this year. The Bills have more weapons than they do. They have solid defense. They have some very good special team plays. The Bills do. So, it's going to be a very tough crowd. I got the score being 35-28. Yeah, 35-28. Let's go with that. I think I'm not sure if 35-28 is a good score. Let's go with 27-20. 27-20. Give me the Bills in this one. I don't think there'll be that high scoring compared to what other playoff games they might have against them might be, but I'll go 27-20. Give me the Bills. They'll finally break through for the first time in a long time. So I got the matchup being the Ravens versus the Bills, and then the Bucks versus the 49ers. That'll be a fun matchup. Those will be fun matchups to see what happens. And yeah, that's my opinions. I'd love to hear y'all's. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Stay safe, y'all, and God bless y'all.